The Rubik's Cube may look like an impossible puzzle, especially when scrambled up. But really, it's very easy. So in this video, I will show you the easiest method of solving it. So when solving the Rubik's Cube, don't think of solving it one side at a time, but think of it in layers. So here's the first layer. Here's the second layer. And here's the last layer. But you don't just solve each layer in one step. You split it up into multiple steps. For example, the first step to solving the first layer is a daisy, then the cross, and then you finish off the layer. But let's not get too ahead, so let's start. So, if you were paying attention earlier, the first step is to make a daisy, and that looks like this. So, it is a white edge. If you didn't know, this piece is referred to as an edge, this piece is referred to as a corner, and this is referred to as a center. If you look around on your cube, one piece always stays the same. The red and white are never going to split up on this edge, and this center is never going to move. Blue and yellow are always going to be next to each other, no matter how you scramble it. See? Okay, but here's how to solve the daisy. So the first step is, as I said, to match up edges with center. Specifically white edges with yellow center. So this is very intuitive, and an easy way of thinking of it as there are three lines, the two outer lines and the one inner line. In order to move an edge up, it must be in the outer lines. So let's twist this face so this edge is on the outer line. And now we can move it up, and it's matched up with the center. So let's keep going. Where's another piece? Right here. But no, that's a corner. We don't move up corners, we move up edges. So let's move this up. But you may get a case like this, where you can't move it up, because it moves another piece out. Well, to do this, we can twist the top side, so you can move it up. So with some basic intuition, you should be able to get this solved. Next step is to make the cross. That looks like this. And it's more of a plus, and also you have to have all of these matching. So to solve the cross, hold your daisy on top, so facing the ceiling. Not on the side, not on the bottom, or on the other side, on the top. And now you need to find an edge and a center that are matching. Orange, blue? Nope. Green, orange? No. Red, blue? No. Red, red? Yes. So, we will turn this side twice. If you're not able to find any, so let's repeat. And I can't find any, so I'm going to turn the top. Here's one. But no, we can't do this one because this isn't white. So, let's do this one, because this one is white. 1, 2. Oh, here's one. 1, 2. So there are no more, so let's turn the top. Still none, so let's turn the top the same direction.
None, so let's keep turning.
And here. Now, we can turn that side twice, and we have the cross. And before moving on, check to make sure you have the cross, and make sure all of these are matching. So I'm good. So let's move on. Now we are going to finish off the white side. And we're not just going to solve it in any normal way, like this, because all of this is wrong. It needs to look like this, where all of these are correct. So to solve the white side, we are going to learn a set of moves, or in cubing terms, we call it an algorithm, called the righty. And the righty looks like this. So repeat that over and over until you have it securely memorized, because we will be using this the entire solve. To solve the white side, look for a white corner. This is yellow. Here's a white one. So let's check what colors it has besides white. Red and green. So we need to move it in between the red and green centers. So red, green, but this is orange and blue. So let's turn the top to move it to its next. So green, but that's not orange. So let's keep turning. Here we go. This is matching with its centers. So we can do the righty to solve it. So let's look for another one. I'll go with this one. Blue and red. Nope. No. Yes. So we are going to be doing the righty algorithm like earlier until it solves. Sometimes it doesn't. That's why I repeated it until it did solve. So let's go for our next one. And repeat. And now the entire white side is solved. Check to make sure everything is correct. For me, it's correct. So that's the first layer. So let's move on to the next layer. So to do this, we need to look for any edge this time with no yellow. I already see one. And it needs to be on top of its correct center. So orange, that's correct. So now let's figure out where it needs to go. Does it need to go to the right or to the left? In this case, it needs to go on the right because blue, and this is the blue side. So instead of moving it to the right, we are actually going to move it to the left. Pretend the piece is scared of where it needs to go. And now let's do a righty. And next we need to rotate to the right because the piece goes on the right. So let's rotate. And now we're going to be doing a new algorithm called the lefty. And it is the opposite of the righty. So you just do the righty with your left hand. So let's look for our next piece. I'll do this one because it's already on top of its center. But if you get a case where it's not on top of its center, just turn the top. So, does it need to go into the right or the left? In this case, it needs to go onto the left. So we'll move it away. So to the right. And since it needs to go on the left, we'll be doing a lefty to start out with. Let's rotate to the left. And now let's do a righty. So, let's keep going. This needs to go onto the left, so let's go to the right. Lefty, rotate, righty. And we're done with the entire middle layer. If you're not, just keep repeating until all of your pieces are solved. So now we need to do the last layer. To do this, we need to build a yellow cross. And we're not going to be doing it how we did with the white side, but we are going to be doing an algorithm. So first you need to check what case you have. For me, I have a dot. It's called that because it is just a yellow dot. Let's not worry about these corners. If you have a different one, then just keep watching until I get to your case. So what we need to do is turn the front side clockwise, righty, and then the front side counterclockwise, and we're on to the next case. This one is an L. So we hold it like this, and then we repeat. So front side clockwise, righty, front side counterclockwise. Here's the next one. This is a line. Hold it horizontally. And then we do the front side clockwise, righty, front side counterclockwise. And we have the white plus. So now the next step is we need to have every corner either a corner twist away, but don't do that. That's cheating and it could break your cube. So blue, blue, red, red, or completely solved. Orange, orange, blue, blue. So to do this, you need to first find two pieces that are either solved or a corner twist away. Corners specifically. So let's look for the first one. This is not right because green, no green. Here's the next one. Red, oh there's a red, and blue, blue. So this one is good, but we need two, so let's look. No, and no. So let's turn the top. I see none, so let's keep turning. Here's one, but just one, so let's keep turning. Here's two. Cool. So now we can hold them both on the left and do 3 righties. Rotate this way. 3 lefties. If you have a case like this where the two that are solved are across from each other, hold it from wherever and do the same thing, which is 3 righties, rotate, 3 lefties. That doesn't completely solve it, so let's repeat the step. And now we've completed it. So now the next step is to solve the yellow side. To do this, we need to, for the first time, hold yellow on bottom and look for any pieces that aren't solved. Like this one, this needs to be twisted. So let's hold it right there. And now we do a righty until it's on bottom. So the yellow is solved. And now, instead of rotating to get to our next one, turn the bottom like that. We're at our next one, and do righties until it's solved. And repeat with all pieces. Now the final step is to solve it. So to do this, look for any side that's solved besides yellow or white. In this case, I have none. So we'll do this from wherever. 1 righty, 1 lefty, 5 righties, 5 lefties. Now let's look for a side that's solved, besides yellow or white. Here, so let's hold it facing us, and do the same thing. 1 lefty, 5 righties, 5 lefties. If yours isn't solved, then just repeat. And then it should be solved.